Hello, I'm going to carry on where I left off. This is a short video. I think it's enough for one video, just how intense this is and how disturbing this story is. So once again, please watch out. You know, if something is triggering you, maybe it might be a good idea to take a break, or even just stop watching if you feel like you're getting re-traumatized, if you've experienced this kind of abuse before. October 2011. Now it's time to address this. Onision, you lying sack of waste. You got me pregnant. So it could be that he's since said that she was never pregnant and she lied about it, and that's one of these smear campaigns that he's run about her on his YouTube channel. Or it could be that he's saying that someone else got her pregnant. I don't know. I haven't seen a video about this. He may have taken it down. He did take a lot of videos down because there was this big uproar about this alleged abuse. The pregnancy was confirmed with a blood test and an ultrasound. So it sounds like he must have been saying that she wasn't pregnant. Otherwise, why does she feel that she has to say this? I don't know. 16 weeks into pregnancy, on a follow-up ultrasound, no heartbeat was found. The baby had died and not yet passed. A urine sample was taken. The midwife sent us home and informed me she would follow up with me over the phone. The midwife called me informing me that the baby had died between 5 to 7 weeks gestation and that I was at risk for going septic if the baby did not pass. I had seen no blood, no passing, no nothing. So 18-year-old me Googled going septic. So this would have been really terrifying for an 18-year-old girl to be afraid of what going. I mean, when she Googled going septic, it would have been, she would have seen some really horrifying stuff, because going septic can kill you. As soon, if you get blood poisoning, then you can die. So this is what she's going through. Not only has she lost the baby, which would have been traumatic and really upsetting for her, but she's also now really afraid for her health and maybe even afraid for her life. The photo that she shows of him, that's his video that he put out at the time, and it was a video that was sort of it came across to me as somebody who was feeling really sorry for himself and wanted everyone to feel sorry for him. He didn't talk about what his girlfriend was going through. He did say that eventually he said that she had gone to hospital because it looked like it was going septic, but you didn't see, I didn't see any genuine empathy in him when he talked about that. You refused to pay for the healthcare required. I had no other choice but to fly back to Canada. So he wouldn't pay for her to go to the hospital to get this dead embryo removed from her that was really dangerous, because it had been there for so long. He just refused to pay, and she wasn't earning a living, so she couldn't afford to pay for it, and so she had to go back to Canada. So that's how little he cared. That this young girl, I know I keep saying that, but she was, this really young, I guess she was a woman, but she'd just become a woman, really. And here she was, pregnant in this really horrible situation. Even a farmer will treat his cattle better than this. If there's something that means they might die any moment, he'll get a vet in. But Onision just can't be bothered. He doesn't want to pay any money to help her, even though this could be endangering her life, and regardless of how terrified she's feeling, it doesn't seem to matter to him. And of course the fact that he actually made her pregnant doesn't seem relevant to him. So he had sex with this 17-year-old virgin, got her pregnant, and when there were complications, he just left her to deal with it. You released a video entitled Shiloh Has Septis. So again, it's just part of this soap opera that he's creating of their lives. You know, her having septis, instead of being something that really frightens him, that, you know, he might actually not put a video out that day because he's so worried about whether she's going to be okay. If he was somebody who felt any human empathy, but instead of that, he thinks, oh great, this is going to make a good title. I'm sure people are going to click on this one, and that's all his thinking. You know, that's my take on it anyway. The night I landed in Canada, you broke up with me. You then posted the video, Goodbye Shiloh, and afterwards framed me as a liar. So that sounds like quite a typical part of this pattern, that just as things are becoming an absolute nightmare for their partner, a narcissist will suddenly end the relationship. And they do this for two reasons. One of them is that when the person is in utter turmoil, they're going to get extra narcissistic supply by dumping them, because they're gonna be more reactive than usual because they already can't cope with whatever terrible thing they're going through. And another reason is that the person's focus is on what they're going through and it's not on the narcissist. So this way, the narcissist can bring the focus back onto themselves. And then he framed her as a liar, she says. And I think he said that she didn't have sepsis and that she was just lying about it. December 2011, I'm taken to emergency for severe pain in my abdomen with no vaginal bleeding. I'm given pitocin, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, and spend the next 10 hours with 3-minute contractions 1 minute apart. The baby had been gone for 10 weeks and had not passed. I had gone septic. So this sounds absolutely horrific. She's going through labour. So not only has she found herself pregnant at such a young age and with such an abusive partner, but then she's miscarried. Then she's had this fear of going septic. Then it's actually happened and she has gone septic, so her life's in danger. And then on top of all of this, she has to go through 10 hours of labour. And she's all on her own. Onision is at home just making videos, just getting attention for whatever's happening with his girlfriend. And he's broken up with her. I received an emergency DNC. My mind was still so bent that when I came to from anaesthesia, I asked for Greg. My mother took my passport from my purse. This was the last breakup. So it looks like her mother saved the day there. Thank goodness she took her passport. And Shiloh has even said since that if her passport had still been there, she would have gone back to him. So that shows you how addicted she was to this relationship, that she'd really got herself into this cycle of abuse and wasn't in any rush to leave it. No matter what happened to her, even when her life was in danger, she still would have been willing to go back to this person. And that's what so many people experience in the most dangerous of abusive relationships. They're so hooked that they will die before they leave the person. And that's because that little drip of positive validation is getting smaller and smaller, and so they need it more and more, and they get more and more desperate for it. Real. This addiction is real. It's not that Shiloh was a stupid person or that anybody else is who's in this situation. They are just utterly hooked on something that's stronger than heroin. And I did a video called Brainwashing and Deleting You, Weapons of a Narcissist. So if you haven't seen that, then that explains this more clearly. I talk about an experiment that was done on rats that proves how addictive this situation is. January 2012, you wanted me back. You sent me $1,100 via Western Union to get a new passport. Facts: I never ordered a new passport. I spent that $1,100. I pawned the engagement ring for an Xbox. I slept with someone else. I had his baby. I got away from you. So at least there's a somewhat happy ending to this. I love her last tweet about it. I think it's inspiring. And of course, as I've said, she is still traumatised by what happened, but she's certainly doing a lot better now than she was. And she comes across to me as someone who's really wise. She's only I think she's in her mid-20s, but she seems like someone who, having gone through that, wants to help other people by telling her story, to help them not to go through the same thing. So that's the good that can come from abuse, is that it can make people who've experienced it more self-aware and more aware of other people and what they're going through. You know, you can become a more empathic person from suffering pain if you don't shut off to it, or if you don't try to shut off to it. If you just let yourself feel, then that can help you to heal, and it can also help you to care about people. And the more you care about people, the more you'll notice that you feel cared about. Not even from those people, but just, I made a video about this as well, but just the act of feeling love can make you feel loved because you're experiencing that loving feeling. If you know somebody who's in an abusive relationship, please share these videos with them, particularly this series. I think because it can people can draw parallels from it and see this going on in their own lives. And I think that when people are going through it, they really can be so brainwashed that they can't see what's going on from a distance. So I'm going to leave it here, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.